We are starting on chapter 10, and chapter 10 is gases. And you may recall doing all your gas law things last year, hopefully. If not, the one that we're probably going to focus on with all these other ones is the whole PIV-NERD. So if you can keep this in mind as a tool, all these other gas laws fall in there. And I'll tell you ahead of time, no one should ever ask you, what is Boyle's law, Charles' law, Gay-Lussac's law? But they made us ask you what happens to the pressure when the volume changes, what happens to the volume when the temperature changes. Those are all valid questions. But if you know this equation, you can have a tool available to answer those. So for example, and again, you don't have to know who said what. Boyle's law, just for reference, we were talking about what happens to the pressure of a gas or the volume of a gas when you change the other one. And this is just the relationship. So this is my original gas, and I change the pressure, the volume will act in a reciprocal fashion. It'll do the opposite by the same magnitude. That's the only one that works like in an inverse relationship. All the other ones are direct. So for example, Charles' law, we are looking at the relationship between volume and temperature. And I will show a little drawing on these. Whoops, that's a 2. For these guys in a little bit. You have Gay-Lussac's law. And this one is looking at pressure and temperature. And again, it's a direct relationship. As one changes, the other changes by the same factor. This one you may or may not have talked about last year, Avogadros' law. And Avogadro, of course, was talking about like moles. So we are looking at how the relationship of volume is affected by the number of moles that are present. It doesn't work the other way around. And then another one that sometimes we talk about, I'm not going to write the whole thing out, it's the combined gas law, which is just one step away from looking at the ideal gas law. These guys are all 1s, and these guys, whoops, are all 2s. Okay, and just to show a drawing here really quick for Boyle's law, if we look at how volume is affected by the pressure, it is an inverse relationship. And if I wanted to, I could switch this around a little bit and see how volume is affected by the inverse of pressure. And now I have a direct relationship. If I want to do Charles' law, how is volume affected with temperature? It is directly related. Gay-Lussac, same deal, directly related. Avogadro, volume in moles, directly related. So we can see how those guys all kind of go together. Okay, now to bring this back around to ideal gas law. You may have talked about this last year, and it's one thing when I remember when I was doing this once upon a time, it always threw me a little bit. It's like, hold on a second, we're doing all these things where we're changing a gas and changing its conditions. What's up with this? I'm just throwing conditions in here and finding the thing I don't know. You're actually solving, you're having a gas and you're solving for that secondary conditions, but this is my original conditions that you're comparing. Whoops, wrong guy, sorry. This is the one that I'm comparing to. This is the ideal gas right there. So if I take that R and I relate it over to the other things that are remaining, which would be pressure and volume, over the number of moles and the temperature. And furthermore, if I add in some conditions, my pressure is at 1 atm, my volume is 22.4 liters. We'll talk more about that number later. The number of moles that I have happens to be just 1 mole, and the temperature is 273 Kelvin. It must be in kelvins. If I take all these conditions together, roll them up, I will get an answer, a value of 0.0821, and plus all those units, which I'm not going to write in there. So this is the value, or this is the conditions of one gas that you're comparing to the other gas. So for example, let's just say I have the R. These are all my unknown conditions, or I'm going to change all of them but one. Anyways, this is the secondary set of conditions that I'm comparing the gas to. So as long as I know 3, I can get the 4th, which is kind of how you work with the ideal gas law. I have to have 3 and I can get the 4th based on knowing the constant, of course. Okay, let's take a look at Avogadro's value or hypothesis, and then we'll do a problem. So Avogadro's hypothesis states equal volumes of gas at the same temp and pressure have equal numbers of molecules. So equal volumes of gas at the same temperature and pressure have equal number of molecules, which we are kind of seeing playing out right here, except we don't like to talk about molecules. We typically use that Avogadro's number, 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd, in place of the number, instead of molecules, and we use 1 mole to represent that number. So instead of molecules, we'll use some ratio of moles for that number right here. But that is Avogadro's hypothesis. Okay, let's swing on over and do a homework problem. We're going to look at 27. All right, so you have a gas confined to a cylinder with a mobile piston. Okay. What would happen to the pressure inside the cylinder if you did the following? You decreased the volume to 1/4 its original volume by holding the temperature and everything else constant. All right, so thinking about that one, looking at, we're talking about what's going on with pressure and volume, so which is like a Boyles law type problem. So let's just pretend, I'm not going to put units in here, but I have a pressure and a volume, ATMs, liters, whatever. Decrease the volume to 1/4, so my volume is now 1/4. What does the pressure have to be to make this still true? So 1/4, it looks like my pressure would have to increase 4 times to work with this to make that equal still to 1. Okay. Reduce the temperature. So we're talking about what would happen to the pressure versus the temperature. So we're looking at that relationship, I guess, pressure and temperature. I think that's going to be Gay-Lussac. Pressure and temp. Pressure and temp. You can still do the whole 1-to-1 thing. Reduce, based on the kelvins, reduce the temperature to half its original value by holding the volume constant. Well, I guess, again, make sure we have 1s and 1s here using the same method we used over here. It's going to have to decrease to 1/2 to be consistent, to give us that same value. Reduce the amount of gas to 1/4 the amount by keeping the volume the same. So what happens to the pressure when the volume is knocked down to 1/4? Same idea, I'm not going to even bother. It's going to be 1/4 as much. 1/4 as much. Easy enough. Okay, let's keep moving along. and we'll do some substitutions. Actually, this is probably a good place to take a break, and we'll start off with lecture number 2 next.